Hey guys, welcome back to Bait and Tackle, and today we are just going to play around with some swim baits, and more specifically I'm going to make a new color. Well, I say make a new color, it's different from what I've ever made before. And then we're also going to play with the heat temperatures on the griddle. I really want to dial in what it takes to make sure that all those layers are bonded. So we're not going to do skin pours, we're just going to do a traditional 3-color pour. We are going to use some, I think this is called blue smoke pearl. It's like a bluish tint. It's clear, it's definitely translucent, but it definitely looks blue. So there's that with a little bit of black flake, and that's really going to be our indication if we're heating up too much, is that black flake, because that flake will settle if it gets too hot. And then I'm going to do silver minnow for the middle, for the line, the lateral line. And then we're going to do this mermaid magic for the top color. So it should be pretty sweet. So stay tuned. So we're going to start heating up the first color, and this is that smoke blue. And I already got everything pre-cut up, so we should be good to go. As we heat these plastics up, I'm going to go ahead and heat up the hot plate, the griddle, and I'm going to probably just put it on warm for now, just to get it going. So we'll get that nice and hot. Our second color is going to be the silver minnow, which I got cut up and I've got some stuff in there too. And then the third one is going to be the mermaid magic. Now this plastic is just a touch bit softer, so I'm going to add some hardener to it. And I'm not going to add a ton, I'm just going to add a little bit. If it's still good. Yeah, it's still good. Just a little bit. You probably can't see this because I'm off to the side of the camera. But I just added a little bit of the softener onto the top of the stuff. So then that way when we heat it up, it all mixes in good. Again, and I don't want to put a ton in there. I'm just going to put enough to raise the durometer just a little bit. So our goal today again is to kind of play with the heat temperatures. This is already heating up pretty good. To see what it takes to get these to thermal bond correctly without jeopardizing getting too hot and having the flake separate. We don't want the flake to settle. So we don't want to get it too hot to where the flake doesn't settle. So what we're going to do is we're going to run it. We're going to run a batch of these. We're only going to make 6. I don't know if I have enough plastic to make more than 6. But we're going to do the bellies. Hopefully I have enough plastic to do the bellies on 6 with this plastic. And then what we're going to do is we'll do the lateral line after that, and then we'll do the other one. And what we're going to do is we'll heat it up to what I think it should be to get that good thermal bond. And then if it's not what we want, we'll open it up and we'll take a look, and if we see the cold cracking, our blue is actually almost ready. It won't take long because there's not a lot of plastic in here, like I said, but I think I'm going to go ahead and put it through the vacuum pot as well. But to get back to what we were talking about, I'm going to go ahead and get everything ready. We'll pour our 3 layers, we'll heat it up, we'll take them out and see if there's any cold cracking. And if there's no cold cracking, we're good. But if we see some cold cracking, then we're going to have to put them back in and we'll heat them up. And I've done that before, where I've actually put them back in the molds and reheated them up. And we'll be able to tell pretty easy if there's still cold cracks or not. So let's get to this. I'm going to get this plastic ready and let's start pouring. Here we go. We're going to go ahead, pour the blue first. Again, this is just the belly color. And that's it. Okay, so the only one I was a little concerned about was this one, because I did get a little piece Probably should use a little knife or a pair of scissors, but I got a little piece right here on the side, and it looks like it's stuck to the body, but I'm just going to go ahead and cut it, and it came right out. So that'll thermal bond when we get that heat going real good. So there's the blue, should be all set there. Silver is coming next. I'm getting that heated up. We'll come back when we're ready to pour that one. So our silver is ready. And the one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pick this up a little bit. I'm going to put these little shims underneath this mold, because what I want to do is I don't want the lateral line to go all the way in the head. I just want it to be towards the back of the bait. I don't want it to go all the way to the head. We'll do it. Okay, and I successfully did that without getting on the sides. I think we're good. So I'm going to go ahead and lift this up, get those shims out of there. And it's not hot enough to where it's going anywhere. It already probably cured. So heating up the last layer now, and we'll be back to pour the final layer. All right, so we got our last layer heated up. We got it to about, pretty sure it's 350, 360. That's good. I want it nice and hot so it fills in everything. And this is the last color right here. It's pretty sweet. Here we go. And we're just going to fill in the rest of the mold without over pouring, hopefully. This is nice and hot, so this should make a good thermal bond anyway. Trying not to over pour these, even though I know they're going to need a little extra just because of it will take them in a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and finish filling these in. And just so everybody is aware, I am using a 5-inch AI swim bait for this venture today. Love the color. I love this color. I'm actually really excited more. I think I'm more excited about the color of the swim bait than anything. But this is definitely a good test to test the heat, heating up and thermal bonding 3-layered swim baits. And a lot of people are very secretive about how they do that part, but I really want to kind of nail that down for myself and for you guys, so we all can rest at night knowing exactly how to do it. And it's going to vary depending on the size of the swim bait as well. That's one thing I probably should say. So we're just starting off with a 5 because it's kind of a generic size, the 5. But I know the Epic Bait mold swim baits are a little bit different. They're a little smaller, a little bit different size-wise. They might even have a little bit more aluminum or less aluminum, one of the two. I think it's less aluminum. So it's a little bit different for heat setting temperature for doing 3 layers. And we'll probably get into that. I'll probably do another video on this, and we'll do different swim baits because I really want to nail that down, even if I have to nail it down and write it down at some point. And it's all going to depend on your griddle as well. This one happens to be a ceramic griddle. I switched to a ceramic griddle, I think last year, just to try something different, and it does get a little bit hotter. There it is, guys. We're all set. So what I'm going to do is just take the heat, either a heat gun or, well, I'm using just a blow torch, a little torch, a mini torch, and I'm just trying to get that little dimple out of the tails, because that always happens in these swim baits. And just don't hold the heat on too long, because you don't want to burn the plastic. If you're using a blowtorch. If you're using a heat gun, you're probably okay to hold it on there for as long as you need to. And again, I'm going to be heating these up again too, so I probably shouldn't be doing this until later. But I just wanted to get these so that they don't have dimples in them now. All right, so we're good. What I'm going to do is I'm going to crank the temperature up to 300, and I'm going to set a timer for 3 minutes. So let's go ahead and do that, and then we'll come back and we'll check. I think I remember doing this before and having issues. So I'm going to set a timer for 3 minutes. I got it set to 300. Going to let it heat up to that 300 point. Then we'll take them off and take a check. We're going to do baby steps, but the problem is if I do it too hot, it's going to overcook and that flake will settle. So let's just do it for 3 minutes, see how we make out there, and then we'll try it again. And I'll sit here and watch this a little bit. I'm very curious. Like right now, the griddle temperature's coming up. It was at like 200. Now it's coming up substantially. It's up to 250 already. So we'll be back when we get it up and we turn it off. All right, so off camera, what I did was I actually I put these on a big aluminum block to cool down faster. See if we could do this a little bit quicker, because I want to know, I don't want to be wasting time reheating stuff up again. So I'm going to do this with these a little bit warm still. They're not terrible. They're warm to the touch, but they're not terrible. So we're going to go ahead and open one of these up and let's see what we got here. Okay. So already, right off the bat, I can see the cold cracking. Excellent color, by the way. I can see that blue, but it's translucent in the belly, and the top is a little bit translucent, but it's got that greenish color shift. Kind of neat. It's like a blue-green with a silver line in the middle. But I can see the cold cracks. I don't know if you guys can see this or not. Let me see if I can get this thing to focus in here. So if you can notice, it's tough to see without having light on it too. But I can see it right there. See that crack right there? Right there? I can see the cold cracks in it. Okay? So we didn't get it heated up enough. And what I was doing was I was doing the spit test just to see if I could get them to get them heated up a little bit more. So I heated them up pretty hot. And one thing I did notice was that the flake hasn't tried to settle on me either. It's still up in the body. It's still up in there. It's not settling directly to the bottom, and that's what you got to watch out for, is the settling. So what we're going to do is we're going to get this back on there. And last time I did it I probably did it for a good, I'd say at least 6 or 7 minutes on 300. So what we're going to do this time, let me get this strapped down again. We got these all together. Okay, what we're going to do this time is we're going to turn this griddle back on. I'm going to get it heated up, and it's still warm from before, so it's not too cold yet. I'm going to get it up. I'm going to put it on warm, get it up to warm, and watch the blue light go away. Oh, sorry about that. I'm going to watch the blue light go away. Let me kind of get you over here. So I got it on warm right now, and there's a blue light right here on the edge of the screen, see it? And when that goes away, then I'll crank it up to my temperature that I need to crank it up to. And I'm thinking, again, I'm gonna try to go by the spit test is what I used to go by. So I'm gonna go up to about 350, and I'm just gonna sit here with it until these things get hot enough to sizzle. And once they start sizzling, you know what I'm talking about. You take a little spit on your finger and wipe it on the edge of the thing, and if it sizzles, then it's good. So I'm going to try that test, and let's just see if that actually works for what we want to do. Okay, so I just took this off. We actually ended up going up to 400 degrees, and I couldn't get the side of the swim bait mold to sizzle until I got to 400, and I actually consistently stayed there and I kept hitting it until it sizzled. Now, here's the problem. We still have cold cracks, and I don't know if you can see it very well, maybe right there. We still have cold cracks. So I'm going to do it again, get it up to sizzle, and keep it at a sizzle for so long. I'm going to check this end too, just to make sure that I'm not going crazy here. Yep, same thing. Still have cold cracks. So I'm going to crank this SOB up to 400 degrees again, and I'm going to bring it up to the spit test temperature. And it may be what I expected it to be. My theory was that you had to have it on here for a certain amount of time, because that plastic has to get hot enough to actually start to melt a little bit. And we're not getting that far. We're getting there, and I can tell by this first outside one that it's getting warm, but it's just not getting warm enough. So this time I'm going to go ahead and go right to 400, which is the max that this thing will go. And I'm going to sit with it and keep doing the spit test until it starts to sizzle. Once it starts to sizzle, I don't know why these aren't laying flat. Once it starts to sizzle, I will then put a timer on, maybe do it for a couple minutes, but I don't want to do it for too long, because again, I don't want the flake to start, I don't want it to get so hot that the flake will start settling. So again, we got it coming up to 400 now. I've got them buttoned up real good, it's flat, just making sure everything's good. And we're going to go ahead and run it to 400, and I'm going to keep an eye on it with the spit test, and then I'll probably just let it hang. That last time I brought it up to spit test temperature where it sizzled on the side here. So let's go ahead and continue to do that again, but this time I'm going to hold it there for at least 2 minutes, and I'm going to watch the temperature. I've noticed the temperature up here in the middle only gets to about 100 degrees. So that's something that I think needs to be addressed. It's not getting hot enough in the middle. The outsides are getting real hot, but the middles are not getting hot enough. So I'm going to keep an eye on that and see what happens here, because like right now in the middle, we're only at 90 degrees, but it's just heating up right now. But the griddle itself is at 300 and climbing, so it's coming up. So let's get to 400, hold it for a couple minutes, and then turn it off and try it again. Alright, so that time I went to 400 degrees, and I let the hot plate itself at this spot right here come up to about 500. That's what it did on max temperature. And I did the spit test, waited for the spit test to get hot enough to where I thought that it would be good without going for too long. And let's see how we did. And everything is still really hot. Yes, that's exactly what we wanted. Exactly what we wanted, and I got rid of it. So, and the flake did not settle. So what I did on this one, let me get you. So what I did on this one was I went to 400 degrees and I went for I timed it on 400 for 4 minutes. Now I might still see, no, it's not. It's perfect. Okay, so 400 degrees. I got it up to the spit. I got it up to where it sizzled, and then I put a timer on for 4 minutes. So get it to sizzle on the edge of your mold, and then go for 4 minutes. But what an excellent color. This came out fantastic. I am going to get these demolded, and I'm going to get them cooled down. I'm going to get them in water, and then we will I'll come back and just wrap up the video with a nice little going away, just so you guys can see everything, see the color and everything like that. So let me get everything demolded and everything, and we'll be back. All right, we are done. They came out really cool. I am so glad that I figured that out. Letting them heat that long definitely cured the cold cracks. If anything, I might have left it on there just a little bit longer. There might be a little tiny bit of cold crack there, but I can fix that. And some of these, the ones that were in the middle, made the cold cracking almost went away, but it was just real close. So I think we're okay at the moment for this batch anyway. So I guess what I would do next time is maybe go 400 degrees, and which is the max on the griddle, and next time go for 5 minutes. Just give it 1 extra minute just to get that heat in there a little bit longer. Yeah, this one's got this must have been one of the ones in the very middle, but it's got a pretty good cold crack in it. But I'm just going to hit that with a heat gun a little bit, just to let it bond just a little bit longer, and it'll be fine. But what an awesome color. I don't think you guys can see it as well as I can right here. I'm going to get you off of this camera mount, and I'm going to show you a little bit closer what these look like. Look at that color, guys. It's like a blue on the bottom, and it is kind of transparent if you hold it up to the light, and it's got that silver line, but it's got that darker purple, almost not black, but like a seafoam green color shift in that back. It's just so awesome. But what an amazing color. It's, like I said, it's really tough to see there. There we go. But let me see if I can get that to focus in. It's real tough to see on the camera. But if I go like this, you guys can see the definite blue in there, the silver line in the middle, and the almost aqua color on top, but it's real dark and then aqua. So very, very cool color combination. A little bit different. It's kind of a darker color, but very cool. So I think that's going to wrap it up. I am going to put some eyeballs on here. I'll probably end up going with some, let me set you down real quick. Probably end up going with some, I get a lot of eyes from Lady Fly Tire. And this one I'll probably do with a natural eye. It's called Glacier. And I'll show you what it looks like. That's what Glacier looks like. Let's see if I can get that to zoom in there. There it goes. Nice natural eye. So what I'll do is I'll stick one of these on one of these baits just to show you what it's going to look like. That's what it's going to end up looking like. Just a nice little natural eye on that beautiful colored bait. So very cool. But I did 6 of these. Again, I probably should have kept it on there a little bit longer, but I'm going to pay more attention to my heating process, and I'll keep you guys in the loop on the long speed ahead. My problem is, before, I know I've done them too hot, too long, and then the flakes end up settling, and this time they did not, so I'm pretty excited about it. Alright guys, well that's going to wrap it up for today's video. Really appreciate you guys watching. As always, we're going to keep bringing you some more content, and today was just messing around with some colors, you know, making a new 5-inch swim bait. Really cool colorway. Stay tuned afterwards. I'll put some pictures on here afterwards of what they look like, and you'll get to see. But man, it's pretty cool. It's a little bit darker swim bait than I intended to be, but a very, very cool color. Very cool. So thank you guys so much for watching, and remember, keep on baiting.